Welcome to day 30 of our 30-day wholesaling challenge. And today we're talking about the perfect schedule to be a successful wholesaler. But before I get into it, make sure you do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the absolute best information on wholesaling today. So you probably thought this video is like, I'm going to give you like the secret to get the perfect schedule for wholesaling. And honestly, I'm going to rip this thing apart and I'm just going to get to the core of what you need to do to get started to be extremely consistent to be successful in wholesaling. And let's start it out. First of all, we all have the exact same time. We all get 24 hours in a day. Everybody is on an even keel on this. So when people say, I don't have time to this or I can't do that, it comes down to people's priorities. If you've made wholesaling a priority, and I don't care if you're working a full-time job, I had a full-time job when I started out wholesaling. Zach had a part-time job while I was doing it. It comes down to either you're committed to it and you're going to set time aside for wholesaling, or you don't prioritize it enough and you treat it like a hobby. I can't set that for you. And I'm here to tell you, before I get into the schedule, if you can't make the time commitment, my schedule will not help you at all. So make sure you're very clear. Honestly, doing wholesaling as a hobby is a disservice to yourself. You can do it part-time with a full-time attitude, but you've got to make a commitment. We all have the same amount in the day. The ones that make it a priority get it done, and the ones that treat it like a hobby never get anything done. So now that we know we all have the same playing field, you have to understand this is you have to plan your day, and you need to do it the night before, if not the day before, because if you don't plan your day, your environment and others around you will set your day and you'll be nothing more in a reactive mode. So you are not planning at all. And honestly, you should be planning almost a week ahead of time. But before tomorrow starts, you need to set the next day's agenda. What are you going to get done? How are you going to do it? And when are you going to complete it by? Because if you don't set that, everybody pushes it on you and then you wind up doing what everybody else wants you to do. And that is no way to get ahead in wholesaling. It is up to you to control your day. You are in 100% control of your day. Either you decide to seize the day and take control of it, or you let others dictate the outcome of your day. I know which one you want to pick. Make sure you pick the right one. The next rule I'm going to give you on the schedule is you have to build flexibility in the schedule. I set every minute of the day and I try to set it perfect. The reality is most of us are independent operators when we start out wholesaling. We actually have lives, we have families, we have children, we have spouses, and life doesn't stop for wholesaling. But what you have to do is build flexibility in your schedule. And understanding most people go to a regular job. If it's an 8-hour day, you're lucky to get 2 hours of pure productivity. If you know that, you're trying to set your schedule is, we are going to teach you how to be much more productive with your time. So if you normally go and work on someone else's dream and you suck up 8 hours of your time and you only give them 2 hours of your effort, we are going to break that apart. So the first thing we have to do is build in flexibility. Why? Because stuff happens during your day. Occasionally you get a doctor's appointment, you got to pick up a sick child, you got to do this, you got to do that, and stuff happens. The weather goes south, you lose internet power. I get it. You have to plan for life. So the best thing we do is create flexibility in our schedule with still having a rigorous schedule. So what I do is I've created what I call stacks. If you know 2 hours is high productivity, go with it. Set 2 hours. If it's cold calling or whatever you're doing, focus 2 hours. Take your phone, flip it upside down, leave it on an emergency mode, and get through the 2 hours. Don't take the temptation of opening up social media and doing anything. It's nothing more distraction. This is what's kind of got you to this point. You have to fix it. So highly focused 2 hours. You can actually do 3 to 4 business days in one day by having 2 to 3 blocks of 2-hour time stacks. And why I like it is because these blocks allow you to get super concentrated, get done what you need to done. It's all about getting it done. And then what I do is usually schedule an hour in between. Don't do less than 30 minutes because it won't work out. You can return phone calls. You can catch up on emails. You can grab a bite to eat. Heck, you can even go run over to the gym. 2 hours. I don't like to do more than that because you tend to lose focus and the quality of work time falls apart. But if you set 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, and 2 hours in the evening, that's like getting 3 business days done in one. I'm telling you, you need to pick away, do the time blocks, 2 hours. I would set 3 a day minimum. I'm going to teach you the basic rules of how to manage your time going forward. And we use the 3-3-1 method. So if I had 7 hours to work on, like say a given day, I would work 3 hours in marketing, 3 hours in acquisitions, and 1 hour in dispositions. Why? Because that's the time, the minimum time you have to allot to break down wholesaling into 3 major categories. Honestly, in the beginning, if you're just starting out, you are going to go all after marketing even harder. here, and I'm going to break it down for you. So 3-3-1, as I go through the 3 cycles of wholesaling, I'll go into a little bit more detail in it. Now, when you get into this part of the business, you've got to focus on revenue generating activities. Like if it's not going to generate you money, why would you do it? Let me give an example. If you're spending hours on designing a logo, nobody cares. Your customers don't care. Your friends don't care. Your neighbors definitely don't care. And your family doesn't care. The only person cares is you. You're trying to get the perfect logo, paying people off the internet, and you're trying to do color schemes. Guys, it doesn't matter. Apple's proven it. They got one apple, one color, and they sell hundreds of billions of dollars of product. A logo only cares to you. It only matters to you. So stop making it so important because it will not generate you one dime. If you're trying to figure out how to set up your LLC, you are wasting your time. You're not going to make any money doing that. Remember, I don't care if you close the first one in your name. I prefer you do it in an LLC, but you can always assign it over to your newly formed LLC right before the closing. I'm here to tell you guys, do not waste time on activities that generate you no money. We've got to generate revenue. So this schedule going forward using the 3-3-1 method, it is solely focused on revenue generating activities. Classify it yes or no. If it's a no, push it off. Keep it outside of the schedule you're setting because you're not going to make any money doing it. If you just follow that simple rule, you'll get complete clarity on how you're going to schedule your day. If it doesn't make you money, do not do it, or schedule it in off-hour times, weekends, nights, early mornings, stuff like that. So now we're coming up with the first phase of wholesaling, which is marketing. And honestly, that's where you're going to spend a bulk of your time just starting out. Marketing is everything. And here's one area where you're going to have to master it. Number one, you got to come up with a marketing plan. How do I come up with a marketing plan, Rick? It's simple. What lists are you going to attack? And lists are everything in your marketing. A list is just a prospect of people that potentially would sell you a deal at a discount. How do you get those? Go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to do it in detail, but you're mostly going to attack government lists, driving for dollars, reverse driving for dollars, tax delinquency. The list goes on and on. Now, the reason why you want to figure out how to get lists because you can't move forward with marketing. Once you have a list, you can come up with a marketing plan, and this is going to include your budget. So if you're going to use listrei.com and you're going to pull 10,000 leads a month, that's what you get with your subscription. It's actually a great bang for your buck. And then either you're going to cold call those, you have to figure out a cost and to skip trace them, and you got to factor that into your budget. And then you're going to have to figure out the time it's going to take you to get this done and any other tools you need to get it done. So you have to set a plan. I want you to set a 3-month plan. Why? Because a 1-month plan is easy to quit. 3-month, you got to hold yourself accountable. So if you're going to do cold calling, SMS, if you're going to do driving for dollars, have a plan and stick to it. Once you have a plan, that's how you hold yourself accountable. And that's how you start what we call your KPIs, your key performance indicators. And the idea of the marketing plan is it keeps you on task. So when you're scheduling your mornings to do marketing, you get a 2-hour block. Go crazy on the cold calling. Don't call before 9 a.m. and just set it up and go and do your 2-hour window. Have your list, check it off, write down the outcomes. How many calls did you make? How many connects did you do? How many appointments did you set? And how many potential contracts did you write or did you actually write? And so on and so on when you close. Guys, marketing is everything when you start out. You've got to be a master of putting lists together. You've got to figure out your list. Your list then basically turns into leads, and the leads is going to push you in the next section, which is acquisition. So the next thing we do is acquisition. And this is going to have anything to do with basically working with your sellers. A lot of phone calls, connecting with them, and then basically this is where you're going to learn how to qualify people. So we teach you how to use the MCTP method. That is our qualifying questions. It's an acronym. If you want to learn more how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. And you're going to learn how to qualify and disqualify motivated sellers. And this you have to spend a lot of time doing. You've got to be on point. You got to use your ears and you got to pay attention. Now remember, you're using the 3-3-1 method. So you're going to use the same amount of energy in marketing as you do in acquisitions because you've got to build rapport with your sellers. And the more you can connect with them by converting scripts into conversations, the better the outcome of churning your leads into actual appointments and deals. This is why you have to spend a lot of time in the acquisitions phase. And this is the part of the wholesaling journey that nobody can skip. You have to talk to X amount of thousands of people before you even become really good at this. And if you only talk to 50 or 100 people, you just have to get through the journey, because the more conversations you have, the better your probability of getting a deal. It's basics 101. But marketing and acquisitions, you have to spend about the same amount of time. Sometimes you'll spend a little bit more on marketing, but as your marketing turns on, you're going to be spending more time on acquisitions. But you have to go through this journey. There is no way around it. There is no shortcuts. You have to experience. The more people you talk to, the better you become and the more effective you become as a wholesaler. So if we know we're interchanging between marketing and acquisitions, I want you to understand back on the marketing side is you also have to set up your manual tasks. This is stuff where you actually leave your office, leave your home. And if you got to go out and get 100 driving for dollars leads, go out and start working on it. If you got to go out 3 days a week, set a schedule. I like to get out and like just get out of the same environment. I don't like to be in the same place too long. I get it's my ADHD kicking in, but go out there and you get on the road, you can drive neighborhoods, and that's a great time to also deal with acquisitions when talking to people. Sometimes you see people at the house, you can talk to them about it, but go out and collect. So some of your physical marketing, you have to go out and plan it. So if it's driving for dollars or reverse driving for dollars, make sure you got your notepads on you and set the manual. This is the manual part of marketing, especially in the beginning, that a lot of you guys are going to do, and you have to schedule it or it doesn't get done. And if you have to miss a day, maybe the car breaks down, maybe you had an emergency, maybe the weather's horrible, make it up. This is what you got weekends for. And guys, weekends are wide open for the perfect wholesale schedule, especially Saturdays. Now, I've all told you, nobody needs an office to do this. You can do this easily from your own home. Honestly, do not get an office when you start out, because it's just going to chain you to a desk and it's going to actually make you less effective. Wait till if you want to build up a staff and go that route, but I advise getting at least 2 years under your belt before you even explore that. Hopefully I saved somebody in this video from avoiding wasting money on an office when they first start out wholesaling. So the next part of the acquisitions, and it kind of falls in the marketing, is follow-ups. I mean, follow-ups are everything. And this is where timing meets preparation. Follow-ups are just people that want to sell their house. They need to sell their house. They're just not ready to do it yet. They don't have a place to go. They haven't figured out logistics, where they're going to move their stuff for, and how much money they need to move into the next place. So what you have to do is stay front and center with them. The only way you can do that is follow-ups. Follow-ups are annoying. They're a pain in the butt, but without them, you are going to miss a lot of deals. More than half of your deals are going to come from follow-ups, because not everyone's ready to sell today. So make sure in your schedule you build in follow-ups. And especially once you get past your initial marketing phase, you usually have to take a lot of time to do follow-up. Follow-ups is where you hit people with the perfect timing. They go, you know what, Rick, I'm ready to go. I thought this over for a month now. Let's get it going. I got a place to go. And you have to build time for follow-up. So I make follow-up as part of my marketing and acquisitions. That's still going to follow under your 3-3-1 rule. And the last part is the one, which is dispositions. It doesn't mean it's not important, but in the beginning, you have to get great wholesale deals. Without great wholesale deals, you don't have to worry about buyers. Now, we set 1 hour aside for disposition. So when you get started, I want you to use that to build your cash buyers list, because the last thing you want to do is get a wholesale deal under contract, and then you have a very small contract window to sell your contract and you don't have any cash buyers. Well, that's going to be extremely stressful on you. So go get out in front and make sure you vet your cash buyers, because you don't want 30 other wholesalers being on your cash buyers list, because they're just going to waste your time. So dispositions is important. And as you get more prolific in wholesaling, you'll build more time for it. But in the beginning, take like an hour on a 7-hour block and make sure you dedicate it towards vetting cash buyers, reaching out. And guys, you just go in Facebook groups, one of the easiest ways to do it. Craigslist is still wonderful. Instagram, plenty of places to find cash buyers there. Just connect with them. You can also go on your listrei.com. You can find them there. And also you can use your local realtors to find buyers that they represent for cash. It is a wonderful, but build this database, because it's very helpless when you get a deal, you did all that work, and now you got to figure out how to sell it. And if you get to that point, you're almost better off JVing, in my opinion. You can check out at sellmypaper.com, but do not overlook collecting a robust cash buyers list that you vetted, that's not full of wholesalers trying to daisy chain your deals. So guys, the key is, I know a lot of you are just getting out started in wholesaling, is you have to treat wholesaling as a business. And here's how businesses work. You have to schedule, you have to make plans, and you have to commit. And if you can't do those three things, there's no point in even having a schedule. Keep it simple as possible. Everybody has the same 24 hours a day. The 3-3-1 method: 3 for marketing, 3 for acquisitions, 1 for dispositions. And if you use that rule of thumb, although it's going to be a little bit of whack in the beginning because you're going to spend almost all your time in marketing, then it'll start to move down to acquisitions, and then you definitely have to have the disposition set. Guys, let me know, are you going to to use this schedule so you can become the ultimate wholesaler. You got to have a schedule. Remember, either you plan your day or the day's going to get planned for you. You know which method to do. Guys, let me know in the comments if you're committing to a schedule in wholesaling. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the best information. Guys, this is Rick on day 30 of the wholesaling challenge, talking about the perfect wholesaler schedule. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.